not going away. It has to be dealt with. So I think I suppose a reasonable way to go about it would be to have this citizens group come together to discuss and to see how we're going to deal with it. If we're going to repeal the 8th, we have to discuss where we're going then, what fills that void while we're sorting out the legislation, and what wording. My view would be I would like a referendum, but I would like it done in the correct fashion so both sides get to air their views and that people are made aware of the consequences of the law as it stands. And when you look at, I suppose, the girl, the tragic case up in the north, and it's great that we think that certain scenarios like that have been treated in a humane and sympathetic way. Well, I mean, that's really not good enough, that you could be lucky enough in such circumstances to be treated in a humane and sympathetic way. I feel as a woman or as a citizen, it's going to woman or man, I feel that my life should be protected, and that when I go in to have a child in the hospital, present myself to medical people, that I hand myself over to the care of people qualified, and that I'm hopefully come out the other end alive.
What are the opinion polls saying at the minute? Those who think there should be a change in the law?
87%. 87%
I mean, if there is a clamour to change the law, presumably everybody would want to be represented there.
There is no clamour to change the law, Sam.
Oh, there is.
87%.
There is.
I've just said, Kitty, and you know as well, that opinion polls are very determined by the question you asked. If you
They're
ask
determined
a question,
by people's views.
If you ask
Nobody
a question,
sets out to have a crisis pregnancy. These things happen, and then you're caught in the issue. What my major issue, and I wrote an opinion piece last year on it, because it reflected my own views on it, because I had a child, or have a child, who had, he's born now, but I had a child with a fetal abnormality. Now, it turned out not to be fatal, but what my point is that I had the resources as somebody who's access to it, well-educated, and I have many family members.
You're a medical professional yourself.
So I had access to lots of information to help me make my decisions. But what I find so upsetting about the case in the north is that it became a class issue. If that girl had the price of it, she would have gone to England, and nobody would have been any the wiser. But if you're 19 and you're living in a house with clearly people she didn't know too well, I assume, and that she was all alone in this scenario, to have somebody in that scenario that they procure pills on the internet, which may not have been the right ones anyway, but it must have been, as the case turned out. Any girl with money would have been able to travel.
And for the sake of £1,000, she now has a criminal record, has a notoriety.
She also had to suffer alone in her home.
Listen, we're running out of time.